Good day everybody, how's it going? Meister here, bringing you a brand new Bixton episode. I'm really excited to jump back into the game after being away for quite some time, and I've just gotten back from Europe with a head full of inspiration, guys, that I'm going to apply in Bixton. Now, when traveling in Europe, I was heavily reliant on public transit to get around. And I've probably taken every single form of public transit there is. I've taken trains, buses, airplanes, trams. I've even taken a ferry. And it's got me thinking, although Bixton's public transit system is pretty good, there is always room for improvement. Now, upon taking all of these forms of public transit, I've learned a lot about how they work and their purpose and so on. Now, like I said, Bixton is in pretty decent shape as far as public transit goes. We have a pretty good bus network. We have a adequate train system, I would say. Trams, well, we don't really have any trams apart from over here in historic Quincy Harbor. The subway system is pretty decent, I would say, for a city this size. And then the ferry network for the city is really good, I would say. And then of course we have our two airports right here in the middle of the map, which are redundant from each other, so that is all good stuff. But although we have a pretty decent public transit system, there is always room for improvement, and that's what we're going to be working on in this episode. So what I would like to start with is providing more commuter rail options for the city. So right now, for example, over here in Les Deux Lacs, we have a pretty good bus network splitting the city in two. And I had intentions on expanding this even further, but until the city grows to a bigger size, there's not really a huge need for a bus network just yet. However, buses are not really ideal when you're trying to go from a little suburban town all the way to downtown. Can you imagine how long that would take on a bus? You're gonna have to stop every, kilometer basically at different stops. You may have to go on one or two transfers, and by the time you get to downtown, a few hours have gone by. Now, I think by providing some commuter rail, it's going to greatly reduce the time it takes to get to the city center from over in this area. And I'm gonna apply that same logic to different areas around the map. So let's jump in here. I am going to build a medium train station, I guess as close to the town center as I can possibly get it. And I think the answer to that is over here. So I don't want to put the train station directly along this main road, because we don't know how busy this is going to get, and I don't want everything to get all clogged up. So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to upgrade this little segment of road to a 4-lane. And then I am going to build a one-way road that is going to kind of wrap around. Just like this. And then I'm going to upgrade that to a road just for aesthetics. And then I'm going to remove the zoning inside of this little green area. And hopefully I'm going to have enough room for my train station. Oh, so I'm going to have to reclaim a tiny bit of land here. That should be good. And then let's see how this fits. So this is going to be a terminus station. Oh, can I not do that? Maybe I can't have a terminus station like this. What if I extend this piece of rail a bit farther out? No, it looks like I can't. Okay, well that's going to change things up a little bit. I might actually have to run this rail line through the entire city, which I don't really want to do. I wasn't quite expecting this, Or, oh. Okay, so it looks like this end of the tracks is not really a problem. Okay, well, this is going to be kind of weird because that means that I'm going to have to switch things over to the other side. Okay, there's really not like a right to left option. Oh, okay, my apologies, guys. Okay, so I guess you can put the train station in any orientation, and as soon as I drag a piece of rail over in this direction, then this is okay to have as a terminus, so we're all good. All right, so disaster averted. Let's get to running a new rail line. And I think I'm just gonna follow the coast more or less. So I'm still gonna allow some room for development directly on the water. And then what I'll do is go across the river. Then, oh, this looks cool. Yeah, so let's do this, and then we're going to somehow squeeze underneath these power lines and above the highway, and then from this point on, we're going to go back down to ground zero along a very long slope. Just like this, and then we're going to work our way over to this set of tracks over here. I'm just trying to get everything to look as aesthetic as possible by building some long swooping curves. Though it looks like we're facing a bit of trouble over here. I think we can fix this by making the curve a bit more aggressive. Let's try that out. Not quite. But it's fine. So we have a level crossing here. We have a bridge going above all of this. So there we go. Our train station is connected up to the main system. Now I think... yeah, there's no other stops along this line here. I think this is a... yeah, this was an intercity connection. So right now, as far as rail goes, I only have inner city connections coming from the outside of the map, but I do have a line connecting all of the downtown areas of the map. So we have our main train station over here in downtown Bixton, which has a line running to downtown Auburn, as well as downtown Quincy Harbor. But other than that, there is no other stations in between. So we're gonna add a couple, and it looks like I might have enough room to maybe squeeze in another station maybe along this area, because this is kind of a main road. I could maybe add a station along this road here as well. That would feed this entire industrial section over here. But I think I'm going to maybe demolish a bit of housing here to make room for a brand new train station. So I'm going to delete this neighborhood. So unfortunately, they are going to sacrifice their neighborhood in the name of proper public transportation. So it will not be in vain. So now let's do another medium station, I think. And this one, I don't foresee there being a ton of traffic. So I'm just going to add another medium station. And then we'll connect this to the main line. Same thing over here. Oh, that actually turned out quite nice. And maybe I didn't have to destroy all of these homes, but... well, it's probably all right. I think I might add a couple of parking spots here. So this will kind of be like a carpool lot for the train station. How about that? And then let's use our brand new surfaces to maybe connect everything together. Looks like we have to gotta make use of anarchy here. Oh, that's a big old slab of concrete. That's not good. Oh, whoa, you can actually remove the pavement. Oh, that's because I'm using anarchy, I think. Here, if I turn it off. Oh no, wow, you're actually able to remove the pavement from this parking lot. Okay, well, attempt number 2. Or should I just maybe use anarchy, add the parking lot directly to the train station? I think I'm gonna do that. There, so now it looks like it's all one unit. So yeah, I kind of destroyed this neighborhood for nothing, but now that it is home to this brand new train station, I think I'm going to make this little lot a bit more mixed use. So let's go ahead here and add some mixed housing. And then maybe some low rent housing by these train tracks. Actually, hang on, I'm going to delete that. And space these buildings out a little bit. And then I'll go ahead here and... oh crap, I had anarchy enabled. There. Squeeze in a few trees inside here. There we go. Doesn't look like there's any... well, yeah, there's a few shrubs that spawned on the tracks. There, we'll clean that up. And that should be fine. So I think that's good. It's not necessary to add another station so close to downtown. Along this line, at least. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, there, I'll just delete this, remove that. And it looks like I have a little bit of room left over for a nice little corner store. Just like this. There we go. Okay. So I guess that's it for this line. I think 2 stops would suffice. So we have the one servicing Les Deux Lacs over here, and then that line is going to go over to this medium station kind of in between downtown and Les Deux Lacs. And yeah, I think we're okay with that. Now, I'm thinking, should I add another stop along this rail line going through Bedford and eventually make its way to Quincy Harbor? Because I do have this rail line going to the edge of the map. Oh yeah, over here would probably be a really great location for another station over here in West Bixton. Let's do that, guys. This is going to be an easy one, I think. So I'm going to pause the game real quick. I'm going to delete this entire segment of track. And then I'm going to do kind of a similar setup to what we did in Les Deux Lacs. I think this inner curve here is going to cause us some problems. So to work around that, let's do something like this. If I have this just running straight through like that, it's going to set us up a little bit better to build another medium train station. Look at that, guys. That is beautiful. And then I can easily hook this up to the main line. Now I know that this is a main line already used for both freight and passenger rail, which is not the case in most of Europe, or if not all Europe. But that's okay. I don't foresee there being a ton of traffic at this train station, so we might be okay. But yeah, I think this was an easy win. This was a really great location for a station. Now, we might actually be able to add one more. I'm thinking... Actually, it might not be necessary, really, because Bedford isn't all that far from this train station here. But I don't know, I'm just trying to think if it might still be worth maybe adding one along this road. However, we are dealing with pretty difficult terrain. I do have these buildings that I might sacrifice. Yeah, you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna do it. I think I am going to get rid of these buildings here. And this is actually a really nice office building. I kind of don't want to destroy this one. Maybe I don't have to. Let's see. All right, so let's do another medium station. Oh, wow, okay, so this is a bit bigger than I imagined. For some reason, I was thinking this was gonna be like really small. Okay, well, here's what I am going to do. I am going to scooch this medical clinic off to the side over here, and I'm effectively going to destroy everything that was in this area to make way for this new station, which is fine. I'm gonna rebuild some of it. I think I'm gonna be left over with at least some room to build back some offices. Overlapping items. What is... Oh, okay. Actually, I think I might just use the main line here in order to save some space. And plus, I have a bridge over here that might get in the way. So I'm going to delete this section of track and then add this brand new station in as centered as I could possibly get it. I think right about there should be okay. And then we'll connect everything back up. Oh, it looks like I have to use a bit of anarchy, maybe. Get this to fit again. Oh, yeah, it's on a hill now. Here. Nothing that we can't fix without move it for now. What we really need, guys, is some sort of slope tool. Or actually, do we already have it? Let's check. Toolbox, terrain height, filters. No, it looks like we don't have that functionality yet in Move It, but that's fine. I'm 100% certain that it will eventually come. So yeah, it looks like we're dealing with a little bit of a slope here. We can either lower the train station and then maybe raise our tracks a little bit just to get everything to be at a bit more of a realistic height. Oh yeah, it looks like it's kind of a weird setup that's going on. Now we're probably dealing with kind of an unrealistic grade over here, but you know what? We are still in a mostly vanilla game, so I'm not gonna make too much of a scene about that. There, so let's try this. Move all this out of the way. Looks like I'm gonna have to go for the nuclear option here and remove all of these shrubs. And there we are. Bedford and West Bixton are totally covered. And at this point, all I really have left to do is to build some commuter rail somewhere in eastern Bixton. Now, there's not a ton of options. We do have a rail line running in this direction. I don't think this area is going to be an option. It's just too hilly, and I don't think we're going to find enough demand in this area to warrant a station, because over here in Coleridge, you know, it's just one road with very few houses. Of course, you want to make the most use out of all of your stations, right? So you want to plop them in very busy areas. We do have a rail line cutting through the industrial area, although I don't think that there's any suitable locations over here for such a station. So I think really the only option is to maybe plop a station in this region. So let's do that. At least this station will be a bit more future-proof as the city expands. You know, all of this is going to be suburbs and eventually maybe some farmland and whatnot. So I think this station will eventually be in a really good spot. So again, I think I'm just gonna go ahead with the medium station once again. And I am just going to build it along the main line. So I don't think this line is really used at all by any freight rail. There, all right. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm wondering if I really even need this road at all then. Probably not. I think I'm just gonna remove it altogether. And instead, what I could probably do, I know this is not really the focus of this episode, but I could add a small road here. And then I guess all along here would be a decent spot for some commercial zones, as suggested by the color of the ground here. There. Oh, here, let me fix this. This is not ideal. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys, I'm moving you all about. Nobody's having a great time here today. There. All right. Well, I think we're in pretty good shape, guys, by adding all of these stations. Now, the next thing that we will have to do is pause the game real quick, as we're going to add some railway lines. So we're going to do a passenger railway from Les Deux Lacs. We're going to zigzag our way to over this. Oh, what's going on here? What? Is it not able to... Wait a minute, did I screw something up here? Okay, let's just add a waypoint. Whoa, that is... Why is that happening? Something's not working here. I can add a waypoint. Alright guys, now the next step is going to be laying down our passenger railway lines. Now, I already have some lines running through this station, so I think I'm just going to grab these existing ones and make them stop at these little commuter stations. So, passengers on their way out of the city can stop at these stations, people can get on the trains, and it's just going to make things a bit more efficient. And there's not an awful lot of stops for each line, so it's still going to be really efficient at moving a lot of passengers a fair distance. So, oh yeah, you know what? I never really considered, like I already have an existing line. Is this, what line is this? Okay, so that is going to the edge of the map. I think I'm just gonna scooch it over and make these lines go through this station. And then I can add, oh my god, what is going on here? Okay, something is not happy. Is it because I used move it maybe? Maybe I'm better off just deleting these segments of track. And let's try this again. Yeah, okay, so that works. And then I'll go ahead and add them back. I think that was maybe just a little bug or something. Whoa, what does this mean? Pathfinding failed. How so? Ooh. Okay, so it appears that these train stations don't really like there to be any other rail in the vicinity. That is weird. And I think that is most definitely a bug. What if I just run this track maybe a bit farther out? Okay, yep, that's fine. So at least our freight rail can bypass this station. So that's gonna add a little bit of efficiency. You know, when you have freight rail sharing the exact same lines as passenger rail, things tend to slow down a bit. And, you know, in North America, this is certainly the case. I think it's a little bit better in Europe, where a lot of, I think there are almost no cases of train lines sharing both freight and passenger. Okay, but then what is going to happen over here in Les Deux Lacs? I'm going to have to build a new line. Potentially 2 new lines, because what if you want to go to downtown Auburn? Yeah, okay, so we're going to have to consider that. So let's start by building a new line going directly to downtown Auburn. So there's going to be 0 stops. We do not have any other stations in between here. So then we have some free space here. So yeah, I mean, this is a pretty simple one. It's just going to go back and forth between these 2 stations. Boom. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a second line. This line is going to make its way to downtown Bixton via this little train station here. It's going to zigzag its way around downtown, and it is going to stop. I guess we'll use this middle track here. It seems to be not quite as busy. And there we go. Boom. Simple as that. And now for the next part, this one should be quite easy. I'm just going to add a stop along this route, and I think that's it. I think we covered everything, right? We had the 2 stations over here, and then we had the one over here, which we covered, Les Deux Lacs, and then this one in this vicinity. So yeah, guys, I think we're good on that front. So I'm ready to hit play here, and the next step is going to be to just wait and see how everything plays out. I think we're going to see some pretty big benefits from these commuter rail networks. Now, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference as far as traffic goes. Traffic overall, I think, is pretty good in the city. You know, there's no really massive chunks of just terrible traffic flow, except maybe downtown. But I mean, overall, traffic is still flowing pretty nicely. Well, yeah, I guess there is some to be desired in Western Bixton. But overall, we're in not too bad shape. Alrighty. So that is going to do it for this episode, guys. I'm going to skip ahead and give you guys a glimpse of how these new rail lines are performing. Now, with the simulation speed being extremely slow in the city now, everything takes a lot of time. So I'm going to leave the game running for a bit, and you know, we'll let the simulation play out, and then we can get some more accurate readings on how our brand new train stations are doing. And before I got too far, guys, I've started to get this icon. There is not enough vehicles to support all of our new lines. I totally forgot about this, but it appears we're going to have to add some additional rail yards to be able to handle the extra traffic. So, nope, that's a subway yard. Rail yard, oh geez, it's already fully upgraded. Okay, so we're gonna have to find a spot somewhere on the outskirts of town where we can have a new rail yard, because yeah, we're completely maxed out on our trains, and I believe this one is fully upgraded as well. Yes, so probably over in this area, I would imagine. It's very industrial. This seems like the kind of place where you would find a large rail yard. So let's do this. Let's pop a rail yard. All right, and I may as well just add all of the available upgrades. Oh geez, is that gonna work? Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna want to move this definitely. Just gonna scooch it a bit farther out. Oh, that's even worse. Okay, I never considered the terrain. Here, let's make sure that we're considering everything here. So the terrain does look flat, but then upon closer inspection, you'll see that it is very much not the case. That was probably one of the worst locations I could have tried to plop this. Maybe over here it tends to flatten out a bit more, but then we have this main road here, which may interfere. I guess right here would be not too bad. It looks like there is maybe going to be a few level crossings, but we're just going to maybe have to deal with that. I don't foresee there being a ton of traffic coming in and out of this rail yard anyways, so I think we're gonna be okay. All right, we got our third rail yard of the entire city, so that's going to provide us with an additional 15 trains. I think that should be plenty, but just to make sure, I'm probably going to want to manage some of my rail lines here. So 4 out of 7, do we really want... Oh, I guess we can have up to 7. I think 3 trains would probably be enough. Well, maybe 4, because it's still quite a long route. So let's start off with that, and then we can check this line. 2 trains. Well, wait, which one is this going to? They're both the same color. Here, let's change this to green. And where is green going? Green is going to downtown Auburn, which I foresee there being a little bit less traffic, so I think 2 trains should do the trick. Now, as far as every other line goes, well, there's nothing that's really going to change, because these stations don't really have dedicated lines coming to them. It's basically whatever's coming in and out of the city is going to stop at both of these stations. There, so I'm gonna run the simulation ahead and we will see how everything works out. Now I've let the game run for a good while and I'm actually surprised by the results of this new commuter rail system. So just take a look at this rail station here in Les Deux Lacs. Look at the massive horde of people that are waiting for this train. We have 95 passengers waiting at the moment, and that's a good indication that this is a busy line. So a lot of people are actually preferring to take the train than to drive or even take the bus to wherever they have to go. So I'm pretty happy with this one, guys. This is awesome. And then let's just take a look at this train here. But yeah, this is so awesome, guys. Almost 100 people waiting at this station. This is cool. Now let's maybe move along this line here and check on the rest of the stations around town. This looks like a pretty busy station too. 90 passengers waiting here. And let's take a look at maybe the trains that are running along this line. So we have 124 passengers on this one, 121 on this one. We only have 2 trains. You know what? This is probably a good indication that we want to increase our assigned vehicles to, let's say, 4. So that is going to probably reduce the amount of passengers waiting, but is going to actually increase the flow of traffic. We'll be able to carry more passengers more frequently. So then, yeah, this line makes its way all the way to downtown, and oh boys, looks like we have a little bit of a situation here. But yeah, this whole system, I think we might have to modify at some point. Maybe we'll work on that next episode, because this rail line here running through the heart of the city has always been quite congested, and then by adding some more pretty heavily used stations on the same line, we're going to be dealing with a lot of congestion coming through town here. And I think it might actually be time to segregate our passenger lines with our freight lines in some parts of town, guys. Yeah. Anyways, we'll let that be for now. We'll deal with that later. But let's take a look at our Bedford station here, which is looking a lot quieter with 1 passenger waiting. Okay. And then perhaps we can take a look at West Bixton. We have 3 passengers waiting. So obviously these stations are a lot quieter, and that might be because there are more public transportation options over in this region. So we do have a bus route going right through the neighborhood, and we do have, I think there is a subway line running through here. I'll have to sift through all my colors here, my legend, but oh yeah, right here is our metro line. 44 passengers waiting, so this is probably a pretty quiet station to begin with. So overall, there's probably still quite a few people choosing to drive in this region of town, which is fine. But I am going to make one little change here. I'm noticing that my bus route kind of goes off into through the middle of this neighborhood, but I think I'm going to add a little detour and add a stop right along our station here. Okay, this might be a little weird, but no, okay, I can still make it work, I think. So what I'll do is I'm gonna move these 2 stops to over here, and then that is going to allow me to move these waypoints. So I'm going to scooch them over if I can grab them. So I'm gonna do this. And then on the way back, they are again going to stop at the same route, the same stop. There we go. So it's going to break it up a little bit. It's going to create a little bit of a detour, but that's okay, because it is going to create a transfer point at this station, and perhaps I can do the same over here in Bedford. Let's take a look at our bus routes. Do we have anything? Yes, we do. We have this bus route that is in the vicinity. So this is actually a pretty easy one. I'm going to add a stop here and another one on the other side of the road. And then all we have to do is add a couple of waypoints. Just like this. So that's going to create a mini detour. Nothing too crazy. There we go, guys. And might as well take a look at what's going on over at our new rail station. Do we have any buses going around here? We actually don't. We do have a metro station not too far. So perhaps that's an opportunity to add a bus route heading through here, because this area is looking a little desolate as far as buses go. Maybe I'll extend this teal line here to go there to this region. You know, I think it might be worth extending this teal line that goes from downtown Auburn to over here. I think I'm going to extend it just a little bit to cover both our brand new train station as well as our metro station. So we're going to create some more transfer opportunities, and then I'll make a little bit of a loop out of this at the same time. Uh-oh, do I have a... Oh, yeah, okay. I do have a waypoint here, so we're just going to connect that to this stop here, and there we go. Slight modification to this line, and we just made it a bit more effective, I think. It might actually draw in some even more traffic to this station, because, wow, it's actually used a lot, which is great. I'm just curious, how busy is this underground station? Oh wow, it's just as busy. So yeah, all is good in the hood over here. Now let's swoop on over to our last train station over here. We got 2 passengers waiting, but I think there is about to be a lot more, because there seems to be a lot of people coming into the station, which is a good sign. But as long as it's being used, I'm happy. And like I said earlier, this station is you know, going to serve a wide area that is eventually going to be built here. So yeah, that is going to do it for this episode, I think, guys. Overall, a very successful episode. I'm pretty happy with it. And I think next episode, like I said, we're going to want to address the congestion that is happening along this line. So there might end up being quite a bit of destruction going on in this vicinity. But you know what? It's all in the name of growth. And, you know, we'll figure our things out next episode. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get updates on my future uploads. So, guys, until the next episode, take care.